This is a disclaimer. Everything in this video is for educational, entertainment purposes only. Anything I say about my personal life is a complete hearsay, and it's actually a complete hypothetical, made-up story that has no validity to it. So, yeah. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another video. I'm actually very glad I'm making this video. Hopefully the response is very positive, very good, because that will probably motivate me to make a lot more videos, start being consistent with uploads, start providing a lot more value. So let's just get right into it. We're going to be doing a Q&A for this video. The main question obviously is, am I natural? And if I was smart, I would probably push this question towards the end of the video to optimize, total watch time to help the algorithm. But let's just get to it first, because that's clearly what most of you care about. So, well, according to my Instagram poll, as of right now, 64% of you, you can't even see that, say yes, I am natty. And the truth is, no, I am not natural. I have been using PEDs on and off for a decent amount of time at this point. So we're gonna go over some history here, and it's gonna be a good time. Right here, obviously, I'm natural. Now I'm pretty lean, pretty shredded. People at this time actually thought I was not natural. And honestly, it's just due to the fact that I'm very, very lean in this picture. Now, what a lot of you don't understand is I'm very tall, right? I'm 6'4", so if I'm not extremely shredded, I don't look freaky in most cases. Now, another thing is, I'm very skinny naturally, just genetic wise. I have a skinny frame, very just slender, and it takes years and years and years to pack on muscle mass, whether natural or not. So it's definitely a process. We're gaining weight slowly over the years, and hopefully we're gonna hit 260, 270 lean, barring any health issues. Now moving on, again, just natural here, clearly natural, although in some people's opinions not so clear. Again, I was just very lean here. This picture, for instance, still natural. Natural here. And yeah, I mean, still natty here. Moving along. This was one of my last posts where I was natural, and a lot of people would be surprised to say this is natural. A lot of people would be like, no, that's pretty attainable natural, which clearly is attainable natural. One thing I do want to complain about is the angle of this picture making my waist, the angle of this picture, this video, making my waist look super wide. For one, it's pretty wide waist, naturally speaking. Two, full of food here. But three, it's a low angle. My waist is essentially out angling my upper body. But do I look decent? Yes. And one thing I want to state here is I was working at my gym at this time. I was on my feet, for most of the day, walking around. Basically, my caloric expenditure was at an all-time high. My training and nutrition was on point, and I felt amazing at this time. And for example, in this picture, some would argue that I look less natural here than I do, in a normal picture right now, simply because of my low body fat. Now, clearly I have little to no muscle mass in this picture compared to now, but a picture is just that. It's just a picture. It's a two-dimensional, picture. You can't really tell the difference in most cases. So, right here, vascularity, completely natural, nothing, just a large sodium intake with some good lighting here. So let's get into the important stuff of what you actually probably care about, and it's what I'm taking. So what I'm taking right now is 250 milligrams of testosterone enanthate. One thing I will say is I've never gone over 350 milligrams. A lot of people think the first starter dose is 500 milligrams of testosterone. A lot of people have pointed out, though, that is clearly way too much. In my opinion, it is best to start with the minimum efficacious dose and work your way up from there. Starting high is just going to leave you less room for improvement. So starting as little as possible is definitely the best case scenario, in my opinion. This right here was the first time I ever took YK11. So technically this would be the first oral steroid I ever took. YK11 is commonly grouped with SARMs, but it's not a SARM, it's actually an oral steroid. The molecular structure resembles DHT very, very closely. So you can kind of see just twisted and gnarled, striated delts. Definitely felt good, but again, all these things have their side effects. You know, I had a lot of acne on my forehead. I do want to say a lot of that's diet, because again, I'm on PEDs right now, but I don't have pretty much any acne because my diet is very good. That was the first time I ever took YK11. I guess you can say that's the first oral steroid I ever took. The first PED I ever did take was SARMs. I did start with SARMs. The first SARM I ever took was Ostarine, which is MK2866. I started with 10 milligrams of that for about 6 or 7 weeks, and then I bumped it up to 20 for about 2 or 3 more weeks after that. As you can see here, traps starting to get more peaked out, shoulders fuller. Yeah, I was essentially cycling SARMs at this time, on and off for quite a while. You know, coming off to recover my natural testosterone production, using something like Clomid or Nolvadex. And again, when you're cycling these SARMs, you know, your androgens are up and down, and you feel the fluctuation. You feel the fluctuation of your natural testosterone when you come off. You know, you feel weaker, you get smaller, you have less energy, your libido tends to get messed up. So there's definitely side effects associated with this. In this video, this is no way, you know, promotion of PEDs. I'm simply talking about what I do, and yeah, I'm not suggesting that you take PEDs in any scenario. Now right here, this is probably one of my favorite looks I ever had. This was on only 10 milligrams of LGD 4033. So ligandrol, the SARM, just 10 milligrams, that's it. As you can see in the caption though, mega dosing micronutrients for 10 days straight, no processed foods. This was really when I started to realize, okay, eating clean, having a high micronutrient dense diet is really the key to feeling good and optimizing your physique. You know, there's a lot of people that take SARMs, take steroids, take any types of PEDs, and their diet is shit, and they look like shit. They look natural, they look like they don't even, you know, they look like they're not even taking anything. And there's more people than you would think out there that fall under that category. It's more than just the PEDs. You know, the PEDs obviously help. They help you retain muscle whether your diet's shit or not. That's clear. But in order to push to new heights, push new PRs, new physique bests, you have to have an optimized diet. You have to have a consistent training routine. You have to be training hard. All right, the battery just died. Had to change the battery. So now I'm going to talk about why I never really talked about it until now. The main reason was my family. I just didn't really, you know, want them finding out, didn't really feel like talking about it. And the second reason is because I would say the mainstream is just grossly undereducated about it. Their perception of steroids, SARMs, PEDs is completely warped. You know, when they find out someone's taking steroids, they typically just completely discredit them. They think their work is just completely, you know, all of their gains just came from the gear, and they didn't have to work hard for any of it. They, you know, quote unquote cheated, which is couldn't really be further from the truth, to be honest. Yes, they help you maintain muscle, they help you build muscle, they help you get stronger than ever, they help you build, you know, a better physique than ever, but the other factors have to be in place. The other variables have to be in place. Your diet and training has to be consistent. If it's not, you will not progress. It's that simple. And so I never was a fake natty. I used to have, you know, natural in my bio when I was natural. The first day I took Ostarine, the first day I dosed the first SARM, I took that out of my bio. I never went on my Instagram saying, oh, I'm natural, blah, blah, blah. You know, there may have been a few times I joked about it, but I made it pretty clear that I was joking. And there have been many times where I've essentially, you know, said I'm not natural on my Instagram story, and it's surprising how many people haven't picked that up by now, to be honest. You know, every time I'm live, people ask, are you natural? And I answer, I say, no, I don't claim natural. I didn't say I'm on gear. I didn't say I'm on SARMs. I didn't say, you know, this is what I'm taking, but I said I do not claim natural. So I would say most logical human beings can deduce from that with context clues that, okay, he's not natural because he says he doesn't claim natural. But again, a lot of people still think that I'm a fake natty, which is just completely ridiculous, because I've never claimed natty when not being natty. Now, I did troll my Instagram story just for fun because a lot of people are voting yes, he's natty, and you know, had to troll, had to bring in a little hype, a little clickbait for this video because, well, I haven't done that in a while, and you know, this isn't some ongoing, oh, I'm fake natty. This is, you know, 5 hours later, I'm just saying, no, I was just kidding. Do I regret any decisions I've ever made in terms of, you know, my gear or SARM dosages, or, you know, just taking my PEDs? No, because I've learned from every single situation. You know, have things, you know, at times not worked out as I thought they would? Definitely. But again, you learn from every single situation, and it just further builds your intuition. It gives you experience to basically, you know, benefit from moving forward. Currently, like I said, I'm on 250 milligrams of testosterone. Now, I did just start taking what is supposedly 25 milligrams of anadrol, and I actually feel like this is underdosed. This is an underground source, and I've never taken anadrol before, but it just doesn't feel as potent as I thought it would. Now, I could be wrong. It could be dosed properly, but realistically, I feel like it's not hitting as hard, so it's probably underdosed. Again, do I recommend taking underground gear or any gear in general? No, I do not. The one thing I will say is that any decision you make in life, you have to be willing to accept the responsibility for whatever happens to you. So if you do something and something bad happens because of it and you're blaming outside sources, that is the worst case scenario. You have to take responsibility for any and everything you do in your life. If you don't, it's going to lead to suffering. It's going to lead to just not an optimal state of mind overall. So that's pretty much that. I've never taken any other injectable steroid other than testosterone. Like I said, I've never gone over 350 milligrams. Will I in the future? Almost definitely, but again, it's a slow stepping up process. And the one thing I want to say about test is that it shocked me. It's not what a lot of people think it is. You know, a low dose of test, you know, you feel it at first, but your body adapts pretty quickly, and it felt like it was building just a nice like foundation of mass and muscle. It wasn't a freaky, cosmetic, shredded, grainy, dry look. It just kind of helps keep all of those, you know, major physiological functions in place, helps you maintain muscle, helps you build it a little more, but it doesn't give you a crazy cosmetic look like you know, an oral would. So again, there are huge risks when taking gear, and orals especially. They're very toxic on your organs. I don't recommend it for anyone watching this video, but I want to be 100% transparent and honest about this. That's about it for the gear. If you guys have any questions that I didn't answer or you're curious about, leave a comment below. I would really appreciate a comment, like, and sharing this video, because the more engagement I get on this video, the more it's going to motivate me to make more videos and provide more value. So if you want to see more videos, help out by sharing this, dropping a comment, etc. Okay, the camera keeps overheating, so I just turned the 4K off. The quality might be worse, but we're gonna have to deal with it. So it's time to answer some of the other questions. This video is already 13 minutes long, so I'm only gonna answer a few of these, and then maybe in a future video I can, you know, do a longer Q&A session. A lot of these questions, the answer is gonna be, it depends, right? There's always different scenarios, everybody's different, and there's typically never a one-size-fits-all answer unless it's a very foundational, just general answer. So the first question, do you have any tips on a 15-year-old trying to add on more muscle without overeating? This goes for any age range. If you're trying to add on more muscle without overeating, you simply need to be tracking your calories, right? You need to be eating in a small 500 calorie surplus and tracking those calories so that you don't overeat every day. If you're not willing to consistently track and put in that effort to track what you're eating, then you're just not willing to work hard enough to, you know, reach your goals without overeating. So make your decision. You either want this or you don't. So you either put in the effort or you don't. It's that simple. Next question, when exactly should I stretch? Typically, static stretching, right? Holding a stretch where there's no movement involved is not the best thing to do pre-workout. It tends to actually hinder your performance. It can, you know, decrease your strength, too much static stretching, and it can also increase your risk of injury. So typically, in terms of pre-workout stretching, you only want to be doing dynamic stretching, dynamic movements where you're moving, right? So any movements where you're actually taking that muscle through its range of motion in a dynamic fashion where you're not just holding a stretch. So, post-workout or on recovery days, static stretching is completely fine and can help. How do you squat at 6'4"? Now that's a good question, because I will say it's not that easy. It's pretty tough. Anatomically speaking, right, how my skeleton is built, I don't have great leverages for squat. It's definitely not a strong point. The most I've ever squatted at this point is 455, and compare that to a 655 deadlift. Clearly, leverage-wise, I am built to deadlift and not to squat. So it's just something you have to always be focused on, improving your technique, staying mobile, and just doing it whether you hate it or not, right? If you neglect your weak points, which I can't say I've always focused on my squat, there's been times where I've really neglected it, then you're simply just not going to progress optimally. High carb, low fat versus high fat, low carb, what do you recommend? Again, this is something that it depends, right? Me personally, if I'm in a deficit and I'm trying to cut and lean out, I really enjoy a high fat, low carb diet. I like to, it feels really good to deplete all my glycogen. At first I feel really flat, small, weak, but then as the fat starts coming off, I start feeling really good. I start becoming fat adapted by, eating healthy fats in my diet. And then once I add the carbs back in, you get a super compensation effect, you really fill out. Now that's just what I personally enjoy. If we're talking about overall health and longevity, then I suggest a healthy balance of all carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. All these crazy restriction diets, they typically are not long-term diets. A low-fat diet or a low-carb diet, they can work for certain situations, certain goals in the short term. But realistically, overall, if you want to be healthy, you need to be getting, a wide array of macro and micronutrients. What got you into fitness? It was just me being super skinny and small, feeling weak and insecure about myself, not confident in my own physical body. Just walking around feeling weak, feeling lesser than other people, and I just wanted to get bigger and stronger for, I guess, what you can call a purely egotistical means. It wasn't really to get girls. I think that was part of it, but it was more just about building my own confidence in my own physical body. Here's a nice question. How are you doing today? Help you feel good. That's a very uncommon question to get on a Q&A. Thank you, buddy. I'm doing pretty good today. I'm feeling pretty good. Why is cardio needed while cutting? Well, it's actually not needed. You do not have to do cardio while cutting. My recent mini cut, which I guess I'll put right here, resulted in this. I did little to no cardio. Now, my metabolism is very high, and I have my specific ways about going about a cut. Does that mean that everyone shouldn't do cardio for a cut? Absolutely not. In my opinion, you should definitely be doing cardio whether you're bulking or cutting, as long as you can make up for those extra calories burned by consuming extra calories in your diet. It's always going to be a more optimal scenario. Your cardiovascular health is going to be better. Your nutrient assimilation is going to be better. You're going to feel better overall, and your body's going to be more optimized if you have cardio in. Do you have to do it to lose body fat? No. A simple caloric deficit of eating less calories than you burn every day is what really is required for a real cut. Best 5-day split when training for hypertrophy in your opinion? Now, this is an unpopular opinion, but my favorite split is upper, lower, rest, push, pull, legs, rest, or pull, push, legs, whatever. You can organize the push-pull legs in any way you want, but it's essentially the best of both worlds. I really love an upper-lower split. I also like push-pull legs, but I think push-pull legs 2 times a week, right, 6 days on, 1 day off, is just a little too high frequency for me personally. Again, everyone's different, but I really enjoy upper-lower rest, pull, push, legs, rest. It's an awesome 5-day split. Creatine HCl, hydrochloride, versus creatine monohydrate, what are your thoughts? I've always taken creatine monohydrate 5 grams a day. Doesn't matter when you dose it, as long as you get at least 5 grams a day. Some people say HCl works better because it doesn't really, you don't retain as much water, but realistically that doesn't make sense to me, because part of the mechanism of taking creatine is the increase in volume of your muscle cells, allowing it to store more water and essentially, you know, making you stronger because of that extra water and mineral retention. Obviously the ATP conversion benefits is the main mechanism that benefits with creatine, but I've taken HCl and I just really didn't feel as good as when I take monohydrate. So I personally prefer monohydrate, micronized, fine powder, no other ingredients than just creatine monohydrate. What age did you begin caring about the ingredients you are putting in your body? It was definitely a slow process at first, right? You know, there's probably one of my most recent videos on this channel was a full day of eating where I ate like shit. I thought I was eating relatively healthy, but it really wasn't that clean compared to now. So it was in my head that I enjoyed eating clean back then, but it's slowly just gotten more and more optimized over the years. And I think it's really gotten very good this year, 2020. What are some simple yet effective lifestyle changes that can improve you internally? This is a great question. One, I wouldn't call this a very simple lifestyle change, but cutting out refined oils from your diet. These are horrible for you. They lead to essentially every disease that is known to man. So we're talking about refined vegetable oils such as soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil, grapeseed oil, etc. That is one of the best things you can do. Also, cutting out refined sugars, again, is not really a simple lifestyle change because it is in such a high percentage of our food supply today, but that is probably one of the best things you can do to increase your well-being and increase just your overall health. Also, something else to add to that is just getting a daily routine. I can't sit here and say I have the best daily routine, but I can sit here and say that it is optimal for increasing your well-being and your lifestyle. So, you know, always getting your meal at one in on time, waking up at a certain time every day, you know, not oversleeping, etc. is definitely a good thing to do. But again, I don't practice that, so can I preach it? Sure, I can say it's beneficial, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I have the best daily routine ever. Top 5 most common poisons in our food. I think it would be helpful to everyone. That's a fantastic question, and I'm gonna leave that for next video because I think that could be, I wanna expand on that a lot more. So I'm gonna call this video here, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. For those of you still watching, I really appreciate it. Again, please drop a comment, share this if you really want to see me make more videos, because every single comment means a lot to me and it's just gonna motivate me to make more videos. So peace out. I hope you guys really respect what I'm doing here, and I look forward to making more videos. So peace out, guys. Have a good day.